with a priest. Staring down the barrel of a gun, the life of a black and brown man. So I have to teach my sons, be prepared for the trial that will come, and be a wise man in any situation. You can't be dumb. I never teach them to run. I breed and raise up warrior, defending the faith at all costs. That's the story of a priest in the UPK. Most niggas don't have the heart to live and thrive through my day to day. One West is the only way. You have to bury me a priest like my fathers. I can see it any other way to dumb it down, just to say the least. We want no cowards in our camp, and we will never pray for kind of peace. Our Lord is no G, and you can bet on that. We stand firm and never flee. My brothers got my back. One nation that's built on brotherhood, and understand we despise all your lies. You feeling froggy, bitch, we wish you. If you're feeling froggy, then bitch sleep. You never really war till you've been at war with a real priest. Don't get it twisted, cause you heard with sheep. Our God's a man of war, and when we go to war, we undefeated.
They had to endure by like not being wanting to sell products too. And that's why Jim Crow Joe passed that No Asian Hate bill. The first of its kind in that fashion, like almost everyone voted for it. But what about for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans? Where's our no hate crime bill? Because we've been not only been name called, we've been murdered. We've been slain in the streets. Where's our no hate crime bill? They put stuff on the books, but no one enforces these laws. Why is it that the Asians get their no hate crime bill? A behavior gets a no hate crime bill, which is a homosexuality. That is a behavior. They get protection. But the Lord's chosen people, we get nothing. Give me Psalms 83, verse 3. Just hold it when you get it. And let me listen to me, America, white America. Listen to me. I want to tell y'all about what y'all been doing to our people. So that way our people can understand that we have to understand that it's going to happen forever as long as we stay in this hellhole called America. As long as we do not abide by the law, statutes, commandments, we will forever endure through this hell. Aren't we tired? The priest brought up, like, why won't you wake up, America? Aren't you tired of sleeping in this hell, this nightmare? This is Freddy Krueger. This is Freddy Krueger. We living in Martin Luther King's dream. It's his nightmare. We're still living in this nightmare. Why won't you wake up, America? We have to wake up, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. We got to understand that this is not our rest. This is a hell that we have to understand that we can get out this hell if we can just provoke the Most High to redeem us by keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments. Because let me tell you something. The reason why they pass these certain bills is because it's a council. They're very crafty in what they do. They give us some stuff about affirmative action, talking you can get a job, or you have to interview certain people like the Rooney Rule, but they ain't got to hire you. They tell you that you look too masculine. Like, just think about what Alderman brought out about getting a job. You gotta shave, gotta cut your hair, you gotta shave your beard. Our oppressors know that that's what we're supposed to keep in part of our laws. Keep hair, keep a good full beard. They know that this is what makes us manly. They don't like that masculinity. So I tell you what it is. When you gotta shave, we gotta cut your hair, and you gotta shave off your beard, that's toxic masculinity right there. Going against your manhood. But that's what our oppressors want. Let me know what you at.
This Psalms chapter 83 and verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel.
Meaning, like, they have meetings. They have these big old think tanks. They sit at their table and they think about how else can we oppress the Lord's chosen people.
Right.
These niggas, these wetbacks, these savages. How else can they make our life a living hell? What can they do to terrorize us? Put in a law that makes us feeble, to make us weak-minded, to make us think that everything's gonna be okay. This is what our oppressor does. They've been doing it thousands of years. But over here in these Americans, they've been doing it for 400 plus. Start it over.
Verse 3, they have taken crafty counsel.
Like, they take their time with what they're about to do to us. And when they put something in motion, it lasts for hundreds of years. Don't think that us living in America, like, this just, when they pass a law, it just happened just a few months ago, a year or two ago. They taking laws that they put in place 100 years ago and affect us still to this day. They take crafty counsel. This is what our oppressor does. He is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Keep going.
Against that people.
Remember, who is that people? The Lord's chosen people is the 12 tribes of the house of Israel, the true biblical Jews according to the Bible. We are the Lord's people. Like Deuteronomy 7:6 says, for thou art a holy people. We are the Lord's people. They are taking crafty counsel against the Lord's chosen people. And what they do in this council, they do Asian hate bill, give rights to the Asians, about name calling, about COVID-19. So what, some Asian got beat up in their store. We get murdered by just standing in the streets. So what, some Asian got to do all kind of Chinese slander, all kind of coin dropping jokes. That's how you name the kids. You drop a coin, make bing, bong, bing. That's how you name an Asian. So what, they had to do it through that. They don't give Jim Crow Joe to give them a right to pass a no-hate anti-bill. So what, they got to stand 6 feet apart. They taking crafty counsel and they give rights to everybody else but the Lord's chosen people. Right. Keep going.
They have, and consulted against thy hidden ones.
They conspired how they're going to murder the Lord's chosen people. They put in Margaret Sanger. What she started with this whole abortion nonsense and pushing that. That's been over, about 80 years now? 80 years. She put that in place 80 years ago, and we're still suffering through it to this day because they take crafty counsel. What law could they put in place to murder the Lord's chosen people, and how can we make it stick for years on end? I guarantee you, had it not been for the Lord raising up these priests and prophets that you see today, abortion probably going for another 200 years, and we're not out here saying nothing about it. No one speaks about the crimes of America except for these priests and prophets you see out here throughout America, throughout the planet Earth. Because we're going to say something. We're going to tell our people to wake up out the slumber that they're in. We will no longer allow our people to be asleep and do it through this hell and do it through this nightmare. Start it over.
The book of Psalms, chapter 83 and verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
And let me tell you something about this crafty counsel. Because a lot of y'all don't know about the psychiatric field. What they will do is they will give an outing to anybody, but most of their people, but they're safe for all people. It's most for their own people. And when you come a murderous bastard, this bastard is, they give you out and say like, well, he was mentally incompetent. He didn't know what he was doing. And all he has to do is go to a mental hospital, be diagnosed by NGRI, not guilty by reason of insanity. See, this is part of that counsel. So a lot of people think that it's a law that they can just put in place, but no, they got facilities on how they can get away with murder. All you had to do was just like, I didn't know what I was doing. Right. I blacked out. I have hatred. I thought I had hatred. When I woke up this morning, I didn't say I wanted to go kill anybody. I just got up and I just did it. I listened to that little voice inside of my head. And then what they would do is they'll get a doctor, and they'll observe them for about a month. You do a little, evaluate them, send them back to jail, come back another month, evaluate them. And then as long as he sticks to the same script and say that he didn't know what he was doing, NGRI, not guilty by reason of insanity. Right. So that means that bastard that murdered our brothers and sisters, our elderly brothers and sisters, he can murder us and get off of jail scotch-free by only doing about 2 months at a time. That is the crafty counsel this bastard do to our people. They put in laws that they only can exploit. But let a brother who may actually have a demon who suffered from mental illness and was to commit that type of crime, they don't care about you being insanity. You're gonna be charged for this crime. You did the murder, you do the time. As a matter of fact, since you are insanity, let you do 10 years and then we'll put you to death. That's what these bastards do. That is the crafty counsel they do against our people. I'm very familiar with the medical field as far as with the psychiatric side, and I'm all too keen about knowing what they do and how these bastards get off of it. I saw exactly how Travis Ray could have got off murder if he chose to, but he begged for that life sentence. He could have got off scotch-free, but he begged to be charged as a murderer so he could be up there with his kinsmen. All right, but my point is, this is the crafty counsel. It's not only through just laws, it's through the workforce, it's through where they got laws on how to get money. It's all through like the laws of like crime, taxes. This is the crafty counsel that they do against our people. Start it over.
Psalms chapter 83 and verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel against our people.
And these crafty counsel against our people, we are the ones who suffer from it. We cannot endure through the crafty counsel these bastards place upon us. We are the ones who have to look at this hell and say like, you know what? What can I do? Can I keep these laws of America? Why can't I have that be afforded these same rights? I'll tell you why. Still to this day, when the U.S. Constitution was written, it says it was talking about all men being created equal. We were still slaves. It was not including us, Israel. But that's okay. That is okay. Because guess what? This Bible right here don't include them no either. This is our records. This is our Constitution. Their Constitution don't include us. The eyes don't include them. That's right. But in that Constitution, that means they can murder us. They can lie to us. But let me tell you something on our Constitution. Our Constitution says that the so-called children of Edom or Esau, which is the so-called white man today, will be taken out by the Most High Power, the God of Israel.
That's right.
Because he's going to redeem his people. He said, God is not mocked. You understand? We have our own laws and statutes that we have to keep. And as the other one brought out earlier, like, if you got a job, go ahead and work your job legally. Do not break the laws of the Bible, not the laws of America. Because now the laws of America, so you can be a drug dealer. You know what I'm saying? You can start selling weed to people in laws of America. But now, follow the laws of God. If you have a slavery, work your slavery. Get your money. Provide for your family. But don't break the laws of the Most High Power. Because we got to understand that this is a crafty council. The crafty council is like, they're going to find ways to lock us up for selling drugs. And then they know that our God don't like us selling drugs. They're going to legalize for us to sell it anyways. Because this is the crafty council that this bastard does. Everything you do is always is an agenda. Understand this, Israel, black man, Hispanic man, Native American man. Everything our oppressor passed is an agenda against you. Whether it's for him, whether it's for the Asians, homosexuality, Roe versus Wade, any mental illness, everything this bastard does is a plot against the Lord's chosen people. Because everything he does is to hinder the Lord's chosen people. We cannot trust this bastard because he is the enemy. Even if you don't understand Israel, just look at America today. When has America ever been righteous towards the so-called blacks or Hispanics or Native Americans? Not one time in the history of America being in existence. And I even go all back to the beginning. Ever since the progenitor of the so-called white man race, which is Esau or Edom, they have never been righteous towards the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Americans, or towards Jacob. Ever since they've been in existence, they have been a living hell on the face of the earth. Just ask every other race. Ask who came over and conquered you? Who came over and took over your land? Who came over and gave you democracy, gave you Christianity? Like right here, with this bastard right here, that is crafty counsel. How can we fool the world to say that the siege of Borgia is actually Jesus Christ? That is crafty counsel. Those are our oppressors sitting in their own think tanks and say, how can we fool the world? How can we keep these Negroes dumbed down? How can we spoon-feed them certain scriptures to make them service to us? And why is it that when you read the Bible, the pastor don't have the urge to rebel because he reads these spoon-fed scriptures? But when Harriet Tubman or Nat Turner read the Bible and Denmark Vesey, they have the urge to want to rebel against society. They have the urge to want to fight and stand up. Now, I remember, I don't want to brought up, our warfare isn't physical, it's spiritual. So when I say we're gonna fight for ourselves, we're not talking about physically. We're not saying like go out and get your guns and go over to Publix and murder them in their own stores now. We're not saying to do all that. What we're saying is to separate yourselves physically and spiritually, meaning like who you give your love to. Come back, have love and compassion for the so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native American. Taking your love away from our oppressor, meaning like prefer your people first. The same way you would do for your child before you would do for, well, now, maybe not so much today's time because we love everybody else, but normally you would do for your own first and then you care about everybody else. Prefer your own people. Do right for your own people because you understand that there is a crafty counsel taken against us every day. To the point where like this counsel has been crafted so amazingly by our oppressors that we out here on these streets teaching our people because of what he's done to our people, the lies. Even everything down to the school is crafty counsel. You know, saying that we come from slavery. Our only existence started off in slavery, as if we were just born in the year 1400. Now we've been existing far longer than that, but this is the crafty counsel that our press put on us to keep us dumbed down. They knew this hundreds of years ago. If we could say they would start off as slaves, we wouldn't even look any further. When this history book said that we've been existing far longer than them. We've been existing and we've been inventing great things. But our oppressor doesn't want us to know the truth. And what Peyton did, I keep wanting to say Peyton Manning, but what Peyton did, that is a bona fide Edomite name, Peyton.
Sorry,
that is a bona fide Edomite name. You don't meet too many of them. What Peyton did is that is another crafty counsel. Like I said, they get in their think tanks. He and I don't forget how many people who went live that saw it. Don't you know that could be considered conspiracy theory? That's conspiracy to commit murder. All the other ones who knew that he wanted to do that. But America's not going to lock them up for conspiracy to commit murder because they did not stop him. That's the crafty counsel that this land had put upon our people to to murder us, to keep us slain and destroyed, while they benefit off of it? Why is it that he went live, started murdering people, and no one called the police? Say, hey, this guy's going live and he's murdering people. That didn't happen. But let me tell you something, Israel. The moment your homeboy come to your house and say, hey man, I got some dope. I want to sell this to this man down the street, but I'm gonna rob him first. If you don't report that to the police officer, you go to jail for conspiracy, because you knew of a crime that's about to commit but didn't stop it. Or if you watching somebody go live and they committing a crime and you don't try to stop it, that's another form of conspiracy.
War with a priest. Staring down the barrel of a gun, the life of a black and brown man. So I have to teach my sons, be prepared for the trial that will come, and be a wise man in any situation. You can't be dumb. I never teach them to run. I breed and raise up warrior, defending the faith at all costs. That's the story of a priest in the UPK. Most niggas don't have the heart to live and thrive through my day to day. One West is the only way. You have to bury me a priest like my fathers. I can see it any other way to dumb it down, just to say the least. We want no cowards in our camp, and we will never pray for kind of peace. Our Lord is no G, and you can bet on that. We stand firm and never flee. My brothers got my back. One nation that's built on brotherhood, and understand we despise all your lies. You're feeling froggy, bitch, we wish you. If you're feeling froggy, then bitch sleep.